Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Christina, and I'll be your host for today's webinar event. If you're looking to learn about key steps for faster RevOps with no-code CRM and CPQ technology, you're all in the right place. This has actually definitely become a hot topic among sales teams for a number of reasons. We're all moving fast and furious. Scalability is key, improving productivity and efficiency, and reducing reliance on IT, I think, are all themes that we all face on a day-to-day. We have a great speaker lineup to discuss not only these key benefits, but also the best practices for implementing no-code technology into your sales tech stack. So let's go ahead and check in with our speakers. First, we have Alex Donchuk, who's the VP of Global Alliances for Creatio. Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing well. The weather here in Boston is beautiful today, and I'm excited about this webinar.
Awesome. Okay, and next we have Jagadish Bandole. He's the founder and CEO of Mobileforce. Hey, Jagadish.
Hi, everyone. Great to be here. Looking forward to the discussion from Silicon Valley.
Cool. And last but not least, we have Sam Biardo. He's the CEO of Technology Advisors. Hey, Sam.
Hi, everybody. Great to see you all, and looking forward to the seminar.
Awesome. Cool. Well, before we kick things off, I just want to mention that the audience has questions at any time during the event. Please feel free to submit your questions in the Q&A panel. We'll do our best to address all of your questions during the course of the event. And thank you to Creatio and Alex for offering up to share a sales no-code playbook to the first 10 people to ask questions during the event. All right, let me review today's agenda, and then I will kick things over to Alex. So first, Alex is going to cover flexing your CRM to optimize sales. Next, we'll have Jagadish from Mobileforce covering optimizing your quote to close to revenue process. And then last, Sam will tie it all together by putting your sales playbook into action and kind of talk about how all these things integrate with each other. We'll follow that with a Q&A and then wrap up.
Yes, thanks so much, Christina. And we all understand how important speed is when it comes to sales. So what's going on now in 2023, right? The market, it was down and then up and then down and then up again. So what is going on? Well, here's what we're seeing. First, the good news. We're seeing in 2023 compared to 2022 or last year, the good news is we are not seeing pipeline generation amongst the largest B2B companies slowing down. They're maintaining, so that's good. And we've also not seen a surge in downgrades as companies are renewing their contracts. However, there is some challenging news, which is we know sales cycles have increased. They've increased roughly 30% since the beginning of 2022. Expansion B2B sales cycles have increased by more than 50% in the last year or so. And even in the last 6 months, I just saw some data that was published that sales cycles have continued to spike up even since Q1 of this year. And we know that upgrades, for example, have slowed. So what are the implications of that? And Christina, if you go to the next slide, you'll see that the things that worked before don't always work in the same way now. Companies are having to do more things and they're having to do different things to move deals along. And so speed, which is the theme of today's webinar, is so key. And it's not only key, but according to this McKinsey survey, B2B decision makers have said it's their number one priority. More than ever, we're seeing companies having to be more resourceful and having to do more and different things to do things more efficiently. And with that, I'll hand it back to Christina and to Alex.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Phil. On that note, let's go ahead and turn it over to Alex, who's going to talk about flexing your CRM to optimize sales. Alex, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. First of all, just want to confirm that you see my screen and will you all hear me well? All good?
Yep.
All right. Without any further ado, I know our time is limited, but I really would like just to give this kind of buzz and my personal feeling about what's going on right now with this new era of enterprise software. Because talking about sales, it's obviously we need to enable our sales teams not only with a great product to sell that they're proud of and they know how to sell it. It's not only about the team around and all the operations, but it's important to give them the tool that will enable them to sell more. And I'm going to be talking today about it because the era has changed. And what you see right now on the slide, you all remember 90s when the monolithic architecture was in place. You remember those black and green screen, everything was hardly coded. And to change something was mission impossible and it took like years. Then cloud architecture came. It was beautiful. We enjoyed this switch to the new era. We could work on cloud from any place of the world, became more propelling our businesses, and it became a new era and we enjoyed it. But what we've seen today and what we're seeing for a couple of last years, just after the COVID, we see that the enterprise software has a completely new era and we call it composable no-code architecture. So if you look right now at those details, I don't want to read this complex slide, but it's very easy just to feel between the lines that just to make any change in the software, just to find the right people to make any optimizations with the tools that are being used by the sales people in your organization, it took months, sometimes it took years. The methodology was different. It was done always by somebody else who doesn't understand the reality of business. Where the world is shifting today is that we believe that the power of change should be more with business people, with the people who are up front and talking to a client. And if they have a particular requirement of what they would like to change in their system and their interface, they need to understand that it's not that difficult anymore. And with the help of the no-code technology and the right partners who are also on this call with technology advisors, it is easy to make this shift to sell more. Because we all agree the major job of sales organization, of sales team, is to close, to attain their quota. And everything that underlies that, like, we really need to just to make sure that this is a new era and our vision, once we're talking about sales, that everything is interconnected. So let me right now bring an example. Phil, you just mentioned about the speed, you mentioned about other important elements, but I can give you from my experience. I've been working in this business from 2005, and I've seen so many shifts and so many things where it keeps changing all the time. But the only one thing that remains the same are the people who will be and are selling today. And the tools that they're using are super important, super critical. I can bring right now an example of organization who employ right now no-code technology for their sales department. This company, one of the leading brands we have in the US. And the salespeople who were working in this organization, people who were working here for 30, 40 years. And just to change this culture, to change this shift, that technology is enabling you, but not restricting you. It's already a cultural shift, because nowadays, our clients with Creatio, you can read about that in Gartner reports, you can read it in other sources, why Creatio is leading in this industry, why we're on the leading positions with the global analysts, because we truly provide a unique solution to our companies, our clients, and they feel more power. They feel that they have this no-code platform that allows them to bring to their operation the right thing in the shortest period of time. Regardless, it's a lead management, order management. It's just about the freedom, the maximum degree of freedom that our clients has got when they come across Creatio. Again, even the name of Creatio, we're giving something to our clients that they can create of their own. We're enabling organizations to have a seamless interactions between departments and have the perfectly organized workflows in CRM with the no-code technology. And we understanding that sales, it's not only one division in the company. They are also connected with marketing and with service. But literally, if I'm account executives and I'm working with the pool of my companies together, I have my TAM or I have existing clients, I want to have in front of me all information that to understand which, for example, if I'm sales director, which client brings the value to my company. It's not only about maybe the sales order, but also see what additional he can purchase, and system in an intuitive way should lead the sales executives in a very intuitive, very simple, but at the same time, very quick way on what else I am as a sales guy needs to do to attain my quota during my certain period of time. I see what I need to do today, tomorrow. I can see and do the forecasting in the right way. And the intelligent tool that drives me through it should be Creatio, at least in our understanding, because we believe that the composable CRM, what you see right now on the slide, helps me to see where the feed came from me, came to our organization, how I converted that, how many deals I closed with this client. I see the full portfolio of the clients who are giving me the opportunity to attain my quota, and also keep track the health of my client, whether it's the right time to call him. Maybe they have some additional open cases or anything else. With having one interface, having all solution in front of me in the way I want it, me personally, because I could be existing guy business, I could be new guys business, I can go for different roles could be applied in the organization. But having this job done by me, I want to have exactly interface I need to sell more, to give the call in the right time, to send email in the right way. Don't forget about follow-ups, to have a perfect seamless workflow in front of me, what I need to do to close this deal. And today, no-code platform allows our sales teams to get more business closed. By the way, Creatio, all 700 employees are using a Creatio solution as well. We're not using just for sales, all our marketing, our service, R&D, like all our organization is running Creatio. And by the way, we're growing year to year, 60% year over year. And we would like you just to potentially chime in and talk to us about our one platform to automate workflows and CRM with no code. So basically, our vision is that all the solutions about marketing, sales, service, or anything else your organization's employs should be in one intuitive and very friendly interface. People like to work with the interface and data that is looking good. Like, for example, on these slides, people would like to have a flow of actions so they know the best next action of what to do. And Creatio is perfect for them with our business process management tool or industry workflow tool that is embedded as a core of our platform. In addition to that, if you're using any other applications and you need the connectors, or your organization decides to build a whole solution on the Creatio platform, it's all doable. So basically, Creatio allows you to fulfill all your requests with one single platform as a one source of truth. I know my time is limited. I very briefly will go through main points that actually sometimes drive the salespeople to close more. Here right now is a screenshot, a very quick snapshot on how sales team can actually operate better with the salespeople. You may find here some elements on the screen that actually guide the sales executive what to do, how many engagements they had, how many email nurturing campaigns are launched by marketing, how many service calls are open. Anything I need to know about organization is in one place. And if it's not even driven by Creatio, for example, service, but you're using something else, it can be easily integrated so you can assess the health and engagement scoring of the client. You can understand what's the next best action or recommendation from the platform for you to proceed. You see everything. You see the full customer profile that allows you to do the right job to close additional deal, or to, if it's a new deal, to close a new deal. So intelligent customer data enrichment works throughout the system. And even on the earlier stage, communication with marketing once you're receiving new lead is important because you need to speak the same language that client spoke to your colleague. And the full information about the lead, about channel, about scoring of the lead, about the specific detail that you need to know before your call, it should be all in the system. Right now, it's a very simple screenshot, but even phone conversation can be attached to it. Anything you would think that the modern tools can be applied, we are doing it with our clients. And if we're talking about the overall SFA, if we're talking right now about the sales projections, collaboration with other teams, or you're selling the field sales management, or anything related to the commission, so anything that we are usually doing in the operations is totally fulfilled here. I'll stop for a second just for the important phrase. Again, we spoke about speed. And we believe that during the sales process, speed is essential to deliver to the client the response, to deliver the client the experience that they are working with the full prepared, full ready organization to deliver you the best solution they can get on them, or the best product on the market. In order to have the speed to be against the competition, to be in the pole position, you need to have in your hands the right tool that will enable your sales team to work like TikTok, to as an oil machine with the proper workflow to gain the right result. The second thing, we always understand that just wherever we talk about sales, guys, it's about attaining the quota. In order to attain the quota, SFA tool, literally with the AI and ML-powered next best offer, drives our sales teams on the next best action. So in the system, we also have playbooks. So basically, after second or third step, not only by actions, but you can actually read a script, or you actually need some instructions. What else could be quickly done just to go to the next stage? We understand that the quotes are essentials as well, and my colleague Jagadish is going to be talking about that. But even integrating with other solutions, like we are connected right now with our partners on this call, it is seamless. It is seamless, and all informational flow is moving forward. That's why we have lots of other products, and I see already notifications about to finish it up. Let's talk about your particular interest in the no-code platform. Let's talk about your sales organization, how it looks today, and how we can improve the experience of your salespeople to work with the clients, and how Creatio platform and the solutions from Technology Advisors, Mobileforce, can boost the revenue of your organizations. Lots of things that I really would like to underline, but unfortunately our time is limited. But everything you are talking about, collaboration with other teams, portal approach, or any analytics and visualization, it's all possible to create without developer. It's a no-code approach, and we believe that no-code platform can enable your organization to work way smarter with clients, attain all the sales goal, and be the example for other organizations how to run sales in your organization. By the way, we're not only optimizing and automating sales, we work on marketing, we work with service automations. We have multiple use cases in other domains, and we look forward to connect and talk a bit more how Creatio can help you with the customer journey for your clients. Christina, I think I am out of time, so I would like to pass the floor back to you. Actually, I'm passing right now to Jagadish, CEO of Mobileforce.
Thank you so much, Alex. That was so well aligned with like sales speed and productivity. Yeah, let's go ahead and pass it over to Jagadish, who's going to talk about, you know, how to optimize the quote to close to revenue process. You know, just kind of like adding on to what you were just saying. Jagadish, go ahead.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Christina. You all can see my screen okay?
Perfect.
Audio. Thank you. So I'm going to pick it up from where Alex ended. He talked a lot about leads and, you know, opportunities and how you kind of move them along. I'm going to focus a little bit on the middle part of your sales funnel and the latter part of the sales funnel, right? Where you are now working on quotes and proposals, and you're trying to push that through and get those closes and move them through the rest of the process and get it all implemented. If you look at the challenges that the revenue operations team face today, they want to be an enabler. They want to accelerate cycle times. They want to increase win rates for your sales teams. And there's a lot of friction points that they sort of deal with on a day-to-day basis, right? So if you look at, as we look into sort of 2023 and the trends and the kinds of issues that field salespeople deal with on a day-to-day basis, they're looking at deal variables that depend on information that's coming from your CRM, certainly, but also from potentially other sources, whether depending on the type of business you're in, right? Whether it could be shipping or tax rates or inventory or other kinds of things. If you're, of course, in the technology world, you may be looking at different routes to market, direct and indirect, 2-tier, 3-tier distribution. How do you sell through partners? How do you get deals approved quickly? So there's a number of elements that go into moving that opportunity through the middle of the funnel to the end of the funnel as quickly as possible. While speed is, of course, of utmost importance, there's a couple of other things that today's businesses are looking to perfect, right? One is, of course, accuracy. Whatever they want to put out in terms of quotes and proposals, they want to make sure that it's accurate. so they don't have to come back and fix any kind of errors. And the amount of effort that deal desks have to put in place is minimized, right? So that's one of the other considerations that's definitely a big trend that we've seen. The other aspect is repeatability, and that means compliance to best practices, putting out consistent looking proposals and quotes and doing it repeatably very quickly. That also helps you move deals along faster with better win rates and faster cycle times. And it all comes down to dealing with the different kinds of complexities in your sales process, whether it's approvals or product configurations or different kinds of pricing. The flexibility to be able to kind of deal with that is really what we see as one of the biggest requirements today. And that's where no code comes in. The ability to enable practitioners, sales operations and revenue operations people to kind of do it all themselves without having to rely on a lot of technical resources is the number one requirement we see, and no code plays perfectly into that. Beyond no code, there's also levels of automation and AI that also can help you make the processes more efficient and shrink the time even further. So we are focused on solving that problem for our customers in conjunction with, of course, Creatio CRM. We are focused on quote to cash process. I'm going to talk about how we are doing this from the context of both the seller as well as the revenue operations person, call it an administrator. Right. So let me talk a little bit about how we are improving the seller experience, how we are speeding things up, how we are making it easier for them. From a seller point of view, the easiest way to think about it is how can you automate their entire quoting process all the way from an opportunity to a quote. So what I'm showing here is a simple a snapshot of how our system works. The CPQ, configure, price, and quote. CPQ stands for configure, price, and quote. Works completely embedded within your CRM process, picks up from an opportunity and helps the salesperson breeze through the whole process in a matter of minutes as opposed to hours. So how do we do that, right? We do it through deep data integration and a lot of automation. So what you see here is a customer, a sales rep, Jim Brennan, who works for this company, NAVCOM Security, and the person is connected to our system and the CRM. And he's using this concept of what we call as a co-pilot. We call it Ask CPQ. It's sort of a front end, one of the front end interfaces to CPQ. It's not the only interface. This is a conversational interface. You could also do it interactively. But I'm just showcasing this so you can see how the seller experiences is being transformed. So in this case, as a sales rep, I'm interested in knowing how many of my customers are up for renewal in my upcoming quarter. So the system, within a matter of seconds, because it's deeply connected to the CRM and the rest of the systems, within a matter of seconds comes back and says, here are some of the contracts that you have that are upcoming for renewal. So Jim goes ahead and says, okay, let's look at particular contract one. I want to focus on that. And can you tell me what are the entitlements? What's the current contract looks like for this particular customer, Holden Robotics? And sure enough, the system comes back and within a matter of seconds gives all the information about their billing, entitlements, and contract obligations, and the product line items they have purchased. In this case, it's a renewal kind of a scenario, right? And Jim goes ahead and says, okay, they want to renew and update their contract. They want to keep everything as is, except for one particular product. And can you just spin up a quote for me with everything as is and a renewal quote? Sure enough, as CPQ, within a matter of seconds, creates a quote and with the same levels of discount as they had before, but removes the angle mounts product line item that they no longer needed. But this is where it gets interesting. It goes a step beyond that and it says, well, Jim, would you like to verify inventory availability for some of these products? You certainly can renew them, but if it's not available, then you might end up putting out a quote and then the deal desk people and the back office people will have to go back and correct it because they might realize that it's not available anymore and they can't fulfill it. So it stops Jim in his tracks and asks whether you want to verify inventory availability. And sure enough, the system can go and very quickly connect to an ERP system or another inventory management system and verify in real time that this particular product here does not have one of the line items is out of stock. And instead of just saying that it's out of stock, it actually goes one step further and sort of says, okay, here is a designated substitute product for that. And would you like me to substitute this product in this quote that actually have availability? And sure enough, at this point, the system continues forward and says, okay, I can go ahead and update the quote with that particular substitute product. And now Jim goes ahead and sees the quote. And now Jim would want to go ahead and close the deal, but he feels that he needs to up the discount to 30%. And at this point, he says, okay, here's the quote, I have it, and can you change the discount to 30% so that I can go ahead and close it? The system, again, uses what's called a rules engine, some smart guardrails that have been put in place by the revenue operations team that says, well, I can increase the discount to 30%, but one of the items here has a smart guardrail where it cannot be discounted beyond 25%. And sure enough, Jim can get it approved, and the system knows that in order to get that exception approved, it needs to route an approval to the regional sales manager and a sales operations director. And that's, again, another thing that Jim doesn't have to keep in his mind and figure out whom to get it approved from. The system automatically, based on the rules, routes those approvals and get those approved. And as that system continues, Jim would like to further go ahead and get that deal closed, and it will prepare, and he asks the system to prepare a proposal with whatever the discounts that are already approved. And sure enough, the system, in this case, prepares a DocuSign proposal and routes it and gets it out of the door very quickly. So that's a very quick overview of how the system works from a seller perspective, how it's speeding up the entire sales process from a seller perspective. Now, we don't just stop at that point, right? If we could just make things easier for seller, but don't solve the administrative aspects of it, such as the revenue operation side, then we wouldn't have completed the job. So that's where we go one step further, and we put the power of ongoing management of whether it is the seller experience, whether it's the rules, whether it's pricing updates, product rules and product updates, all of that in the hands of sales practitioners themselves, whereby things that used to take weeks and months to be able to go code new rules in or test out new rules can now be done by sales practitioners themselves, business analysts themselves, very quickly in a no-code kind of an environment where it's all configurable, does not require any programming expertise, and everything that they need to add new approvals or new configuration options or new pricing options or new bundles can be very quickly done and tested out and rolled out to sales teams. So that gives you an idea of how we are innovating and bringing some new things to market in terms of both seller experiences and administrative experiences. And what's the outcome of that? We are seeing dramatically faster cycle times. At the end of the day, it's all because there are quotes that are put out there are correct the very first time, they're accurate, and they're out of the door very quickly. Significantly lower quoting errors, so it's deal desks are happy, and that is accelerating cycle times, and also improved ROI as well. So with that, I want to pass it on to Sam, who can talk about how he is putting together the two steps, the CRM step and the CPQ step, all together in the context of a customer, and also talk a little bit about the customer case studies. Sam, take it away.
Okay. Oh, I have to share. I'm sharing my slides. Okay, never mind. I misunderstood that. It says I'm disabled from sharing.
I can
Hold on,
run through the slides for you if it's convenient.
No,
No problem.
hold
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Let me just do that. I can do that, Christina. Here.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
either way, I mean,
yeah.
you can share them now, Sam.
Okay.
There you go. Sam, you can speak to
Oh.
it. I can run the slides for you.
Perfect. Let's go next slide. Yeah, so we did this. We had implemented Mobileforce for a painting company out of Indianapolis, and tremendous success. So I want to go through what they started with as their process and how it changed. So the next slide. This was their sales process prior to Mobileforce. So they're a painting company, so they'd have to go on site and they have to send an estimator out. The estimator would sit down with the customer, review all the work that had to be made and measure the walls, the type of paint they wanted. They would then make handwritten notes. They would go back to the office. They develop a quote. There'd be a series of processes where they would email the quote up, talk to the customer, follow up on the quote, make adjustments, follow up again. Eventually, they would get a sign off. Then they'd have to go to a different department that would schedule. They would confirm that scheduling date was good for the customer. And this process really took somewhere between 8 to 12 days. Let's go next slide. Mobileforce changed everything because what they did was now they go to the site. So the estimator goes to the job site, he does the review, and he develops the quote right on the spot using a tablet. And then from that point on, the customer's right there. They can review the quote together. They can make adjustments together. And a lot of times they will get sign off right from the customer on site. So the process goes, from literally days of going back and forth to I've got the customer right in front of me. We can go through all the little details of that quote on site. And then I can immediately pull up the schedule and say, when is someone available, and actually get a start date. So literally, I can be with the customer for 1 to 2 hours and actually produce a quote and get the sale. But it took it from literally 1 day, from 8 to 12 days down to 1 to 3 days. And that was a really big thing for this customer. And here's what happened. They got higher close rates because they looked a lot more professional because they were generating the quotes literally on the spot. Faster close time, and customers were satisfied. There wasn't a wait. When am I going to get a scheduling? I'm buying something. When can I have it scheduled? All that stuff was done with the customer on site in one visit. And that really became a big deal for them. So let's talk about our process. So the way Technology Advisors, we use a very standard agile development process. And what we did for this customer is we sat down and we understood their current system and helped them vision the future system. And we do that through interviews and use cases and proofs of concept for them. And because of the Creatio low-code platform, and because Mobileforce is so configurable, it's a very rapid way to actually show people what they're going to get early on in the development process. They had a couple integrations we had to build for them. One was to QuickBooks. We put together plans for training their sales team because they had an older sales force. So we put together a plan for deployment. And then in about 3 to 4 sprint cycles, we've had the whole thing built out. And then we go through a standard deployment process of testing and training because of the older sales force. And then we move their data from their old system, which I actually don't remember what it was. And then we go into a support mode to help them. And they are exceptionally happy. Their productivity is way up. And it's because of the technology inside of Mobileforce and Creatio. I think I've done my stuff quickly.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. That's great. Cool. Okay, well, I think we're up to the Q&A portion of our presentation now. And well, like I mentioned before, we're gonna offer a free no-code playbook to the top 10 people who ask questions during this event. Alex, do you wanna speak to what you get in this no-code playbook?
Yeah, thank you very much, Christina. It will be my pleasure to send out this book to the first people who are asking questions here. That's actually a beautiful masterpiece, and once you have it in your hands, you understand why I'm saying that, because every single page is in the design, every single page with the design, with the quotes, and interesting information just to grasp, to read. Briefly, if you would like to get a soft, smooth, and interesting introduction to the no-code technology, this will be in this book. And it's not only about the main outlines you see here on the slide about the principle, everything, but it'll just better give you understand like how your organization can transform with a no-code, and how the guidelines from this book will help you to set up the right team, the right stages, to align on expectations from all sides, and build the center of excellence to deliver the solutions with the help of no-code technology. So this playbook will go to our first questions people asking, and I have lots of them here in our office here in Boston. So I'll look forward to the first questions in place. Christina, the floor is back to you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Alex. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to toss it back to you because I think the first question that just came in is for you. And that is,
Okay.
how can you manage manual time-consuming operations with no-code technology? Can you?
Oh, that's actually a very simple question, because we all understand that salespeople are busy people, and manual and time-consuming tasks that they're doing daily also need to be not only done, but the quality and how they're doing this routine operation should be also improved. So Creatio has got thousands of organizations from different industries, from financial, from manufacturing, with our platform that gives them these advanced tools to streamline this entire end-to-end process and repetitive operations, at the same time empowering the business developers to make these data-backed decisions through more intelligence insights. Just to come back to the very simple example, if I'm a sales guy and I really would like to understand better what kind of procedure to use, even when I'm, for example, somewhere develop proof stage with my client, I can see what system actually is offering me, what kind of email to send, what kind of actions to do. And practically behind the scenes, if we're already talking about the quote management or something related to the wrapping up, like contracting, system can actually perform multiple processes, can operate different additional tasks to simplify the job of the sales guy and to perform it instead of the salesperson in the best possible way. Right now, we actually launched a very interesting integration with ChatGPT, and we released it during our previous webinar with our partners. So basically, it already allows the sales guy after the meeting to have a 5-second gesture revision of after he placed information about how the meeting gone, already about the beautifully scripted email to be sent out. And if another call is about these particular questions, also with the help of other technologies, similar to ChatGPT, he's already getting prepped for this meeting. So we believe that just to get this efficiency, salespeople must have today's instruments to attain their quota and do the job better than the competition.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you, Alex. Jagadish, do you wanna weigh in on this as well?
I think the only thing that I would add is, from the context of, we see a lot of that from no code, from requirements from a CPQ perspective. There, we're working a lot with deal desks and revenue operations teams. And I think their focus is, there's a lot of unnecessary work that they have to do to correct coding errors. And sometimes, they have to swivel chair between different systems, whether it's CRM or other back office systems, to read, write data, to integrate into their process, or to kind of intervene in approval processes to kind of get those moving along. I think those are the areas where they would very much like to automate, and they don't want to write a lot of code to automate it. And they would love to have a tool or a process where they could business analysts can do it themselves because they are subject matter experts, and they want the flexibility to try different things very quickly, right? Because a lot of times you don't know what process will work and won't work, and they want the flexibility to try out different things. So a no-code tool set to be able to kind of do those things quickly is kind of what we are focused on.
Awesome. So much, Jagadish. Okay, so we have another question. What type of company would be great as a candidate for Creatio and Mobileforce?
Yeah, I would say that, well, first of all, the organization we did implement was a field sales organization, right? And so Mobileforce really is excellent for field service, but both sales and service, because of its nature, the components, the fact that it runs in a mobile environment is great. And then anyone who has very complex quoting. So I look at, like, I had a guy this week come by my house because we had a rainstorm, wanted to talk about putting up a new roof. And, you know, I could see, like, I wanted to sell him Mobileforce because, you know, he was like, you know, yeah, we got to measure your roof. This all could have been done as remote field sales or complex quoting. Those are the companies that are really great candidates for both Creatio and Mobileforce.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. Cool. Okay. Another question that came in, how can you improve your sales processes and or operations quality with no code technology? I think maybe Alex, do you want to take that one first?
Yeah, thanks, Christina. Great question. I didn't mention about that, but actually a very good question, because looking even at the sales process, it's also important to see what are the bottlenecks and how this process is executed. Where do we have some bottleneck that needs to be removed, replaced, or changed? Because if you ask some of the senior leadership in the organization, how often do they look at the business process of the regular salespeople that they are working and bringing the revenue? Okay, the most positive option that they're looking at is once per year. They look at that, they analyze it, they design it, redesign it, so it's a good thing. But literally, this area was always so gray for the sales managers. It was always so difficult to comprehend and understand how these guys are working today. Are they doing this step? Are they doing another step? And right now, with this new technology, with this approach where people can actually embrace the workflows and understand how it's all going, it opens the eyes right now to the management team that, hey, look at that. After, I don't know, 300 times of executing this business process, we always stumble here, and this element needs to be replaced or changed or optimized. Or after we are coming to a contracting stage, our competitors giving something better. So it needs to be constantly revised, and to improve the sales process is not that difficult as it was anymore, because it's just drag and drop. You don't need to code a thing just to optimize the business process. And obviously, the quality of the workflow in the organization is going to grow, because it's like a living organism. You're updating, you're changing, you're optimizing it all the time. So it actually corresponds with the business strategy of organization as well, because with the workflow optimization, you can actually guide to the right results, to the right projections. And again, it can be done with the non-tech savvy employees, and you're enabling your people just to implement required changes during the meeting. It's not about like weeks, days. You can just change it during the meeting session with the management team without a code optimizer process.
Love it. Cool. Thank you, Alex. Jagadish, do you want to weigh in on that? Like, how can you improve the sales process and operations quality with no code? Oh, you're on mute.
Thank you. Yeah, it sort of builds on what I mentioned before. You know, mainly some of the challenges and inefficiencies we've seen that sales ops teams and even sales managers need to kind of work with is just that getting a system that is in tune with the trends of today's sales processes and the dynamics of today's sales process, and enable them to do it well, right? People want speed, they want accuracy, So they want system that will keep that will sort of help the salespeople and provide recommendations on and potential things to upsell, cross-sell, and flag errors as they are putting together proposals. Kind of give them an easy way to sort of create different versions of codes and sort of do an A/B comparison. All of these kinds of things are helpful in that speed, right? So where they can quickly put together what the prospective customer is looking for, give them the comparison that they need, and help them make the decision as quickly as possible, right? At the end of the day, you win if the customer is able to understand what you're putting together well and be able to make a quick decision. So it all comes down to that. And I think a lot of demand we see is around automating that aspect, and certainly no code plays a big part in making those processes faster and better quickly.
Awesome. Thanks. Thank you, Jagadish. Okay. Sam, do you want to weigh in on that, or?
Yeah, it's interesting because if you think about the way we used to develop, and some people still do develop, it was game of telephone. I'd have my business analysts talking with the business leaders. They would translate that into some document that they would share with the business leaders, which would then be shared with the developers, who frankly might understand what the original business developers and business leaders were talking about, but they may not. And so they spend months building something out. They then come back and show it to the customer, and the customer says, well, that missed the mark a little bit, and then they revise it, and they revise it. And by I was telling people this a couple of years ago, is like, your old organization structure was sort of like this. You had project managers on the top and developers on the bottom, and the middle layer was business analysts. And with no code, occasionally you need a developer, but it's more this. You have a project manager on top and a lot of business analysts who can talk to business leaders and immediately build out a solution. So what that does is you get to your target faster. There's less communications because it's being done by one person. It really, really improves the time it takes to get something to market. And with the business conditions the way they are, everyone's trying to get stuff to the market in a faster time. And the only way to really do that is through low-code technology.
Yeah.
Okay, Jagadish, this last question is for you. This participant's asking, given the wide range of customer needs and complexities, ranging from product lines to pricing, even third-party or partner distributor constraints, how is Mobileforce's CPQ solution able to adapt in a flexible way to meet those unique needs?
Yeah, thanks, Christina. That's a great question, and it's very, very pertinent to today's business climate. People don't sell one way only anymore. They partner, they sell direct, indirect. They sell through the web, they sell through mobile, they're online, offline. They are constantly thinking about new ways of packaging and bundling their products and services to make it attractive. So it's very, very important to have a system that can adapt to that rapidly changing business processes and business conditions. And actually, that's something that we are very proud of. With our system, that's something we hang our hat on, that we are the world's most adaptive CPQ. We have a CPQ that adapts to your business, not the other way around. And that's very important, because at the end of the day, you want the end users, who are the sellers, to not have to relearn a new system. You just want them to be comfortable with whatever process that they have been following over the years, that they have perfected. And you want the system to adapt to it, not the other way around. You don't want to force them to come and learn some new kind of process because you have a new system in place. You want a system that can mold itself very well and mimic whatever the process they have, and whatever the inputs and the deal variables and the discounting process and whatever they follow, you want a system that sort of adapts very well in step with that. And that's something that drives higher user adoption. And people will actually utilize this new technology on a day in and day out basis to get those additional efficiencies and be able to speed up their processes. So adaptability is something that is highly desirable, and especially for today's business climate. It's something that we spend a lot of time innovating, and so would love to have a chat with any of you who are interested in learning more about that.
We would like to bring a special promotional things from Creatio, from all our partners of Mobileforce and Technology Advisors for you. Let's just sit together and just invite you to this incredible journey of doing no-code solutions, and just in this journey of the no-code technology. I believe it will be interesting for you. It will be insightful for you, and you will get lots of new interesting things that you maybe have never heard before. Believe me, it will be impressive, and we guarantee that you'll spend your time with a very good efficiency. Please just contact us, and we'll be glad to respond immediately, or just contact us with the LinkedIn. We are open for it. Alex Danchik, that's my name, Sambiar, or Jagadish Manhol. So we are available anytime. Let's just have a conversation, 30 minutes, and you'll see what we can do for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. And thank you so much for everyone who joined us today. We appreciate your time, and wish you all the best. And yeah, hopefully we'll chat soon.